All right, welcome back, everybody. Saturday morning. Yeah, that's right. Hopefully you're with us and you got your coffee. Or I know some of you tune in a little bit later and you've already had your coffee or whatnot. So anyway, thanks for coming around, everybody. Saturday morning, and you know it's Collectors Radio time. And this time around, we're going to go through kind of a whole bunch of stuff on my in my inventory, for say, and kind of what I use and what I always keep on hand, and kind of my kit and my setup and what I kind of mainly take to the range these days. And I've kind of eliminated a lot of other things that are pretty much not useful to me, in a sense that if I'm not going to be taking them out to the range, enjoying them, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I've been doing. All right, but before we get to that, obviously we're going to read through your comments, which is the most important thing of the show. At least for me it is. And I wanted to kind of talk on something and actually bring something up. You know what, a lot of people that have clicked on this video, or maybe not knowing really what this is all about and what we're doing, this is Collectors Radio. This is what we do. Collectors Radio belongs to the subscribers here that are been diehard going through this, have been tuning in, not necessarily always commenting, but I know you've been tuning in and listening. This is your show. This is what it's about. This is this whole thing that we do is for them, and it's for you, and that's what it is. You know, some people say, well, you know, oh, it took so long just to get to the firearms that we're talking about or whatnot. That's not necessarily what the show is about. The show is involving the subscribers, you, the people that have been pretty much literally tuning in every Saturday, doesn't miss it. That's what this show is for. That's who this show is for. You are the show. So that's I want to get that out of the way and just kind of talk about that. And you know, so there's no kind of, you know, just pointing that out there, just in case you got, because we get a lot of newcomers that are coming in and going, well, what is this? Let's click on this. What are we doing here? What is this? Why is he taking so long just to talk about what's on the table? All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll through the comments again. No particular order. They're going to be just read off. Again, if your comment wasn't read and you did post a comment, there could be a couple of factors. You commented after the production of the show, or you got pulled for some reason. Sometimes the comments do get pulled. Use kind of I guess rated R language or rated R content, or just negative content. It's not going to get read. We're not going to give you the time of day for the negative comments. We're just not. That's not what we're about. You don't belong in the club, really. So, all right. But if your comment is, you know, and that's what we do. We share. We share things and ideas with each other. We share products with each other. And that's what we're going to roll through. All right. Here we go. Crazy Scotsman. Uncle Melton will live on through you. Look forward to hearing more stories of a great man and adventures you two shared and enjoyed together. We did, and Uncle Melton and I, we went on a lot of adventures. We spent a lot of time together doing a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that's a little bit rated R. So I can't really share everything with you because some of the stuff that he did or said, or the things that adventures that we went on, were a little definitely on the rated R side. Speaking of rated R, but I will share what I think is some of the more of the friendlier stories there with you guys and everything. So, all right, Harrison Mantooth, good morning. And thanks for sharing another great Collectors Radio show. You are very welcome there. When I first heard about the fires in Hawaii, I was concerned about your family and citizens over there. Yes, my family is fine. They're good to go. They're on a different island. Although the Hawaiian Islands is my home. I look back at, all those people that are completely caught up in that, lost everything in that. Horrible things that have taken place over there. It's sad to see all that lost. And then, another thing that's really sad that upsets me is the island belongs to the people there, and they've been put out, and it's created itself to where its own people can't even afford to live there, which is sad. Look at me. I mean, I couldn't afford to live there anymore. That's not really exactly why I left, but I know for certain it wouldn't have been a place that I could remain. You can't really abide there when it's just all this, it's happening. It is becoming to the point where only the rich and powerful people can afford to be there. And that's not right. They don't belong there. It just, it's not their island. So I do have a little bit of an issue with that. To get on a soapbox a little bit, but I do feel for all those hardworking families that have worked hard and sacrificed for everything to have it taken away, and people that are lost or dead or they can't find. That's really it's heartbreaking to see that. But yeah, the pictures are very troubling. Yeah, absolutely. So many people, again, but I enjoyed hearing stories about your Uncle Melton. My sincere condolences. Yeah, you know what? Uncle Melton lived a really good life. He wasn't. He lived it up. You know what? And yeah, he knew when it was time. It was time. As everybody would go. But you know what? I'm just happy for me. I spent the time that I did with him to accommodate him so he could do the things he wanted to do. And it's pretty much our last hurrah. And taking it on. So while listening to you reminiscing about spending time with him, I thought about my Uncle Bob, with whom I spent many hours at the range or hunting deer. I received my order for 9mm extractor tool from Dawson Precision. Haven't used it yet though. Thanks again for sharing your 1911 collection. Stay cool and safe, Stan. All right, we appreciate that, Stan. Slimfire 54. Morning, and sorry for your loss, your uncle. My heart, I know he meant a lot to you. Awesome display of 1911s, and I also like to change grips on 1911s revolver handguns too. Thanks for another great episode, Slim. You're welcome, Slim. We appreciate that. Yeah, grips are changing out grips and stuff like that. That's why I like doing the 1911s. There's so much you can do to them and everything. So, all right, Danger Man, my condolences on your loss. I noticed you're wearing a Montaigne bracelet. I've worn one for years, and I'm not old enough to have served in Vietnam War, but I was good friends with a vet who gave me one when we parted ways. I'm guessing you know the meaning of the bracelet. It seems we have more in common than just our love for old movies, guns. I love to hear your story on this. I got into them because of John Wayne. I believe John Wayne received one. It's hard to know because I know he went back and forth to Vietnam during the times. And obviously, with it being pretty much in a nutshell, like a good luck bracelet, a friendship and unity kind of deal. He was given one. I liked them because of him, because of the Duke. And then as I started learning about what it meant and everything, it was even really more cool. From what I understand too, like you can see pretty much from a certain point in time frame of the Duke's movies, he wore it religiously. I mean, it was constantly seen. It's really noticeable in the movie McHugh when he's ripping the wires out of the car to hotwire it. You can clearly see it. My buddy wears an identical one to mine. We actually we got them at the same time. He wears a really close friend of mine. He wears his all the time. So anytime we're out and about, he's always got his on. So and I've been off and on with them. So anyway, but yeah, that's the story of that. At least from me and everything. I probably butchered the name saying it, but all right. Okay, Joe P. Swig of coffee for Joe. Hey, Joe, look at that cup. Isn't that nice? Rest in peace, Uncle Milton. And it's awesome that you two had such a great relationship. Yeah, we got real close. And like I said, I mean, we did so many great things together. And my Uncle Milton would be very upset if I spent my times crying about it or being bummed out about his passing, because that was not what he was about. He loved to make me laugh. He loved to laugh himself, you know, so that's the way it is. I mean, every day he would just giggle about stuff that sometimes it would just, you know. So, anyway, Shane here, good morning. The T-Sauce GI 1911s are awesome. Yes, they are. I do like them. I love how it's an exact replica of the old World War II 1911. It's one of my favorites. Happy to see you're having a good success with yours. I never knew the Colts would be such rattle cans. Unfortunately, they are. I still have. They're still awesome though. Yeah, that's what it is too. The old Colt is an awesome 1911. The Colt, the history, heritage. That's why I like them. Although I don't shoot a whole lot of them anymore, but they are a piece of history. The name and what it means. It's cool. It's nostalgic. You know, and they do make a quality one. It's not that they don't. They do make a quality 1911. They're gorgeous. Some people could say the rattleness of it all. And eventually a lot of 1911s will get to that point. The more you shoot them. I mean, it's just an inherent thing. But no, they're awesome. I don't want to make a mistake and make it seem like I was knocking them or anything, but I'm not. I love them. As well, that's wonderful to hear that your family is okay there on the island. It's very sad what is going on over there. It is. It's very sad. You know, you should be taking care of them, and those corrupt politicians ought to be. But anyway, we won't get into that. All right, Warren. Thanks for another great show. Like I said on your other video, I absolutely prefer 9mm 1911s. It is good to see the 1911 in virtually every caliber to cater for everyone. Springfield does a best job out of the production 1911s. I agree with you there. I love the two-tone finish on the Ronins. They remind me of Don Johnson's custom-built 1911 he had on Nash Bridges. I remember that show. I didn't watch it, but I always remembered it was on. Joe Penny on Jake and the Fat Man. I grew up watching the golden films of Steven Seagal. Yes, I did. That's why the Series 70 Mark IV government models, like, you know, I mean, come on, above the law. You know, that was, I mean, you're right. The golden days of Steven Seagal, irregardless of the guy's wackiness, those movies were phenomenal. I mean, come on. When I was growing up, I was just a kid watching those, and I mean, I was like, oh, this is awesome. You know, so, which sparked my interest in 1911s, and who can forget Arnie with his custom built Series 70 or 70 series. If you're talking about what is his long slide that he always had, what was it, Last Action Hero? I think he had one, and definitely in Terminator or something like that. I don't know. I don't recall. Like, Arnold was always just blow him up, shoot him up, everything crazy. Looked up that on also looked up that on two Chuck Norris films. He had a Nickel Colt Commander and Officer's model. Some were government models. I enjoy target shooting. It is a form of meditation for me. Looked at tactical shooting for a while and quickly lost taste for it. But I like shooting, recreational activity. A great weekend, everyone. Yeah, that's what it is to me. For me too. It's recreational. It's enjoyment. It's not. I don't like that. I don't get into the tactical game. Nothing wrong with it. To each their own. Everybody can jump in on whatever they want to do with that. But you know, it's not for me. I realized it wasn't for me. I'm about going to the range and having fun. You know, it's like. I just want to enjoy it, the sport, the hobby for what it is, you know, while we got it. You know, it's sad to even think that or say that, but, you know. But anyway, we got a couple of responses from that by Tamblin. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly. Don't forget, Magnum PI's 45 government is pretty good with it. That's right. What was that, Tom Selleck? Because... Don Johnson, what else, what was the other one that was going on? It was Nashville, what was it? It was Magnum PI and, Miami Vice. I always get them mixed up. So, all right. I noticed I didn't watch them all the time. Anyway, all right. Crazy Scotsman is back again here and says, I'm like you. I go in a shop or a show And I got blued steel and wood grips. I have no use for plastic. Fantastic. I started out, unlike most others, with a 12 gauge and a 44 mag. Two of the most versatile rounds. I agree. Shoot what you have and enjoy it. Even my highly collectible ones get at least 50 rounds a year because they deserve to be enjoyed and shown some love too. Yes, enjoy it. Why keep it nice for the next person, right? My brother, gun enthusiast, we go way back. Yeah, it was 2014. We both uploaded our first video, and I'm still here watching, bro. Awesome, man. And I'm still watching your content. And that's another shout out to another great channel, gun enthusiast. Great guy. I can't believe that, man. 2014. That's insane. He had started up his channel too. Always, great content. Still uploading shorts and stuff like that. So go ahead and check his channel out. All right, Jerry Johnson. I love that Cobra 1911 from the movie. 2 thumbs way up. All right. I love your guns. I also enjoy old shotguns. Beautiful collection. Good morning. Thank you for advice. Maybe next weekend I will go out shooting. All right. That's from Jeffrey Richardson and Gun Collector 007. Frank, thanks for sharing. Sorry for your loss. Antonio, I would like to ask a simple question. What is the sear depressor and what is its action? Hang on one second. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, that's a good question. What is the sear depressor? Only assuming you're talking about the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup has a depressor sear thing on the sear. You imagine what the sear looks like. It looks like a claw. And around it there's this like extra little gizmo that's attached to it with the world's tiniest spring I've ever seen in my life. I would say it even gives a run for the parts in your reading glasses a run for its money when it comes to small parts. That thing is the greatest pain in the behind that I think you can possibly get. Next, I would almost say I would rather take apart a Beretta 92 FS than to deal with that sear depressor spring. It's hard to think of that whole gizmo without thinking bad words, really. First time I ever saw one, I didn't know it was there, and I dumped all the parts out on the table as I normally do, and there it was. Thank goodness it didn't roll away, because I guarantee you so many people probably took that thing apart and didn't even know what that spring looked like. It is a pain in the butt. It really is. What it does is because the Gold Cup, if you have an old original Gold Cup, that's what it's mostly pertaining to the original Gold Cup. If you got an old original Gold Cup, it's on there. The new one, thank goodness they deleted that feature. But it's mostly on the older ones. And what it's for is because the Gold Cup has such a tuned trigger that it helps keep the sear engaged properly so that the gun doesn't double fire on you, which it can do. It can, if you don't have that setup installed, that gun can double fire on you. So that's what it's all about. I would say if anybody out there has or is thinking about buying an old original vintage Gold Cup from the 70s, at least from my knowledge, it's on the 70s one because that's the one I've got. Don't take it apart, the internals, unless you're really prepared for that. You need a slave pin to reinstall it. There's just no getting around that. If there is a way to get around that, I have no idea. I'm not a gunsmith. I'm just an adventurous guy with a screwdriver. But yeah, that whole bit, I would just say don't take it apart. Just leave it as it is, because it's a bear to put it back together. So hopefully that answers the question. Sorry, I had to go take care of something over there that was on. Didn't mean to like walk away and laugh at your question. It wasn't, but I was laughing at your question because not at the fact of what you asked. It's just that whenever I think of that piece in that gun is just absolutely ridiculous. All right, Squib. Thank you for explaining that. Comments with the links will get yanked. At least that's what I noticed, Squib. It was getting yanked. So, all right, there we go. hopefully everybody has had their comments answered, and again, that's what I mean, you're part of the show. Okay, this is my rundown on stuff, basically my kit of things that I've been using and running with and all that. So as everybody knows, pretty much when I roll to the range, and I'm mostly taking 1911s a lot of times, these are my 1911s that I'm taking. My Springfield Armory Ronin, my lightweight 9mm Commander, my absolute favorite blaster. I just will not sell this at all. This is just something I will not sell. I bought this during the height of everything when it was just like ridiculous. You couldn't find it. I bought one of these, and so there it is. It's been my favorite, my go-to. Of course, I've changed it quite a bit. It doesn't quite look like the stock one because I've changed a lot of pieces and parts on it. We've talked about that. Next up, Hackathorn Special, all steel frame and everything with the Wilson Combat. What a phenomenal piece of 1911 kit right here. This is just awesome stuff. Wilson really does it, knocks it out of the park with custom guns, at least their custom 1911s I can speak of. This is absolutely, to me, the pinnacle. They're expensive, they're not cheap, but you know what? It's everybody's situation in life is everybody's different. I'm not rich or anything by any means, but it's about what you think is the way to go with your spending of your money. I love these things. I love the Wilson Customs. They're just phenomenal. It's about the only ones that I will buy in that price range per se. So, all right. As far as magazines for these things, because that's mostly what I run, is the 9mm 1911s. That's pretty much it. If it's that's what I'm mostly running in the center fire. As an added bonus, the rim fire ones here. I got my 22 that I pretty much put together. It's my Frankenstein gun. I love it. Lightweight. It's an alloy frame with an alloy slide with a stainless steel barrel, which is inherited. It's got to be. But I got all this from like friends of mine that had parts laying around, or they had like my good buddy had this slide upper assembly. I purchased it from him for a really good price. A lot of the other pieces and everything like that come from my good buddy. I carry one, so I help put that thing together really, and it's just kind of a work in progress. I changed up things here and there on it from time to time, but it's just added to make it as extremely lightweight as it could possibly be. As far as shooting 22s out of it, I mostly like to stick with mini mags, or Remington Golden Bullet is my go-to stuff for that. Although I'll shoot the Winchester bulk box or Federal bulk box. A lot of times you'll get 22s that have issues with those. Mine doesn't, because I've pretty much, I guess in a way you could say, I forced it to shoot that ammo. I said, you are not going to give me grief about it, so I did a lot of tuning to it, and I made it shoot that stuff. So you're not gonna have another choice. So all right. Magazines wise, for my 9mm 1911s, lately I've been running these are the ETM blacked out magazines by Wilson. I've been trying those out lately, so I picked up a small amount of these, a few of them. But yeah, these I've been having pretty good luck with. They're blacked out, the same steel material, but I forget what they call it. It's like they're poly. I don't know exactly what the thing is, and I had the package, and I said, well, what this is all about, what it says, and package didn't really give much description other than it's just a black ETM magazine, with the standard base plate on it. So I've been running these lately and checking them out. I've been liking the results. I've been happy with what I've been seeing, so going to continue running them, as I didn't expect to have any problems with the Wilson magazine anyway, because pretty much when it comes to the 1911, I pretty much just exclusively run Wilson magazines. I don't get paid from them. I wish I did, but I don't get paid from them or anything like that. I'm just a consumer, and I'm just telling you what works, what I have, what I've been using, and what's been working for me. The other magazines I got that I use for it is, aside from a pile of other ETM magazines, I got the Vickers Elite tactical magazines right here. He's got his own base plates on them and everything. They're steel base plates. The tube is completely sealed up. That's kind of what he done, instead of having the witness slots, which on the ETM magazines they move to the rear for stability. But I have noticed on the ETM magazines, they're a lot more solid. You can tell they're a solid magazine and everything, especially with the Vickers tactical metal base plates on there. Makes a solid magazine. I've been really loving those a lot. They're not cheap, but I like them. And I just, the way I look at it with the magazine is, you could buy a couple of $20, $25 magazines. You run through them, you have problems, you chuck them or keep running through them, or you buy another one to replace, and then in the end you got one or two maybe that might run okay, where you just probably should have bought some quality ones to start with. And that's just kind of where I'm at. Be it Wilson just happens to make the ones, and he understands it's the heart of the magazine. So, all right, keeping in line, and speaking of grips, I wanted to show you some of my favorite grips. Is the skip checker grips. Those are my favorite grips I usually use, although I don't have any on these right now. I just kind of have the Starburst, even though that's kind of what I've been liking, is the Starburst pattern grips on my 1911s. I've been kind of rocking those a little bit. I love the aged ivory, and I did some some haggard serrations on this, if you will. I did that with a file or whatnot, just kind of having fun, hacking up grips. All right, the other thing too, like we mentioned, everybody, for my 9mm 1911s, I'm glad I went with the Dawson extractor removal tool. I went with that because it does make it easier in taking the extractor out. In what else has been aiding me, because once you get the extractor to go out and you got to pop it up, what has aided me now is actually a paint can opener. Yes, I've added that to the inventory as a paint can opener because it's got the little flat ledge. That has been working out pretty good for me. All right, moving on over here. Polishing compounds. I've always usually have a thing of this half-inch Shimmerchrome polish on hand. Always have something like that. That's part of my inventory because it works really well. Be careful on blued stuff with this because it will remove your bluing. Same with number 7 polishing compound. This is courtesy to my good buddy. I carry one. Turned me on to this stuff, so now I have a tin or a can of this stuff in the inventory. Works great. I use it for cleaning brass mainly. I tumble my brass with this, and also polishing different types of stainless and nickel and all that kind of stuff. Works great. All right, moving on over to the oil side of things, and I recently started using this solvent, which is a carbon remover by the Ultima Lube line, Ultima Lube 2 line from the Wilson Combat. I have been using their, lubrication or oil or whatnot for quite some time. And I tell you, a bottle like this has lasted years. You don't need a whole lot of it. You're not drenching your stuff with it. So a 4-ounce bottle like this has lasted years for me. I've had it for a long time. It's just now half, I've consumed half of it already on spreading it around 1911s, because 1911s, the key to those things, they got to be greased. They got to be ran lube. They got to be wet. And when you shoot them, they can't be run dry. So I've been using this. This is the Universal. The consistency of it, you can see, is it's kind of a moderately heavy, like it's a moderate oil / grease. I do have the grease. I did try the grease. The grease there, again, you can see the consistency of it. Very a lot more dense, like probably like honey or some kind of like molasses or something in the consistency of it. Out here where I live, the summers can get kind of brutal and hot. So usually during the summertime, I'll run the grease. And because it does stay put where you put it and everything. Along the other lines, I just picked up this product, which I'll be doing a video on it, and we're going to do a close-up and everything. The light oil. I decided to pick it up because I wanted to throw it in a range bag as something. You can see the consistency of this stuff is really, hence its name, light oil. I got the 2-ounce bottle, so it fits in the range bag really easily instead of lugging something like that. So that will replace the other stuff in the range bag. Just always have something like this in your range bag, especially when you're rolling 1911s. On this side of the house, you know, I always have Croyle for stuck screws and stuff like that, or you're gonna try to take bushings out of the grips of the frame or anything like that. You shouldn't do that often, but if you need be, this stuff has saved my butt more times than I can count. So I always have Croyle on hand for any of the threads that are stuck. And obviously my go-to stuff for just all around hosing everything down, if I'm not going to use any of the carbon, which I don't use. I try not to use solvents a lot and stuff like this. If I do, glove up, or just don't get it on yourself, because this stuff is toxic. It's very toxic. It's caustic. It's just, I don't like it absorbing into your skin and your pores and stuff. We have enough cancerous things around us in daily life. Don't need to add to that. So, but yeah, mostly I just hose everything off with ballistol. I'll admit I'm really bad when it comes to cleaning my stuff. I don't do it often. I just, you know, I should get back more into the habit of keeping the stuff clean. As far as cleaning inventory wise, these happen to be just the 22 caliber ones, but they make all sizes. The ramrods are basically giant Q-tips, and the sizes of the Q-tip itself, the swab, the cotton swab, it depends on the size you're doing. For my 9s, I actually buy the 40 caliber one because it kind of has a tighter fit. So I hose it down with like ballast or whatever, let it sit, run one of these right through the barrel, good to go. I mean, it does, a couple of them will squeegee out all the junk and gunk that it needs to in one pass. That's why I kind of buy the bigger ones, because it does grip the barrel, the lands and grooves a little bit tighter, and you just pull it right through. That's what I do, is I take it, run it through this way, go through the breech, and pull it out that way. I use the 22 ones not only for my 22, obviously, but for the extractor channel down in the slide. I run that through to keep that clean. So again, you know, and if you have a 45 auto, I, you know, buy the 50 caliber ones. So that's just my tip on those, if you're going to run those and everything. The other thing I run in my 1911s is shock bus. I'm a big fan of shock bus. Some people have good luck with them, others don't, or seem to have issues with them. If you have issues, take them out. But wow, it is storming out today. I know a lot of other places you guys have hitting big storms and stuff like that. The storm finally hit us late tonight. Hopefully the power doesn't go off. Knock on wood for sure. But I'm a big fan of shock buffs. They're kind of expensive for what they are, but you know what? They're a lifesaver. They last pretty good, a good long time. I'm not really rolling through them. All right, this segment is pretty much for those of you that are part of the Collectors Radio show crew. You all know who you are, that are always constantly tuning in every Saturday. And this is for the light oil here, the Ultima Lube Wilson Combat product here. So we're going to go ahead and try this stuff out, see how it is. When I was reading up on it, watching some content on it, this is the one that Bill Wilson kind of said is really good for the 9mm pistols and stuff and all that. So there's a little bit of a write-up on it here. Comes with the package. I'll let you pause that if you want to read that. And then, of course, that right there. So, all right. I got the old SA35 out. I was decided to use it on this one here, since we're going to be running this soon at the range. And the other stuff here that what I'm going to do is grab a couple of the other ones. You can see I have been using the Universal quite a bit, and the grease being out here in the very, very hot weather. So. But I did want to check this stuff out and put it in my range bag and everything. So let's go ahead and see. Hopefully you can see the how it applies there. Pretty good. I like how it does run pretty evenly right down the slide rails right there. Hopefully you can see that. And then we'll see it how well it disperses itself throughout the rails and everything. All right, we'll go ahead and put this piece right here back in. All right. Wow. That's pretty nice, I can say. I know you're not going to be able to tell much difference, but I can tell you that there's definitely a difference in the way this thing feels. compared to the way it was just a moment ago, where we kind of cleaned a little bit of the debris and whatnot out of the rails and everything. But wow, really nice, really nice, really nice. Wow, that's impressive. Yep, you can see kind of how it spurts itself. So, okay. Anyway, there it is. I'll continue to use this and check it out. But so far, I must say that's the first time applying it and everything. I figured I wanted to show that to you. Kind of a little bit of exclusive content for you guys here on the Collector's Radio. But those are the three things I guess I'm going to add to it. I will probably pick up a lot more of that stuff. That definitely seems to work. But I'll go ahead and keep running that smaller bottle and get a better kind of review on it. But like I said, I've had this one for years, and you can see just how little of it I've used. About half of it, and I've had that for years. So the stuff definitely goes a long way. It's not like you have to keep buying a bunch of it. So anyway, back to the show. Whole bunch, a good couple packets of these will last you a long time, especially if you only have 1 or 2 1911s or something like that you're always running to the range like this. So a package of those will last a good long time. It keeps from the battering of the slide and frame and everything like that. So anyway, that is my piece of kit that I rolled through right here. So I just wanted to just kind of roll through that, and hopefully you enjoyed it and my perspective on this stuff and all that. So enjoy your weekend. I'm going to get out of here and let you get on with your day, right?